Hey there, and welcome to this explainer. If you're someone who really wants to dig in and understand exactly why our bodies seem to just change when we hit midlife, and more importantly, what the data says we can actually do about it, well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're exploring a topic that frustrates so many of us, demystifying midlife metabolism and looking closely at the Atkins solution. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the midlife metabolic shift. Then, we'll break down our macros: protein, fats, and carbs. After that, the Atkins diet explained, navigating net carbs, building your low-carb plate, and finally, avoiding some common diet mistakes.
All right, Section 1, the midlife metabolic shift, the biology of aging.
Look, we know weight loss is a super personal thing, right? But to figure out the solutions, we've got to start with the biological realities of aging. So why is it suddenly so much harder to lose weight after 40? I mean, if you felt your energy just completely zap out of nowhere or noticed your weight slowly creeping up around your middle, it's your hormones, not your fault. When things shift, like lower estrogen and progesterone for women in perimenopause or declining testosterone for men, your metabolism just doesn't respond the way it used to. Which actually leads us right into this super important biological concept, sarcopenia. Essentially, this is the natural decline in muscle mass that happens as we age. And why does this matter so much? Well, nearly half of all the protein in your entire body is found in your muscles. So when you lose that muscle mass, your overall metabolic rate just drops. That makes it incredibly easy for your body to start storing fat, and honestly, it really raises the stakes for our overall health and physical independence as we get older. To put this into perspective, let's contrast how a younger metabolism works compared to a midlife one. A younger metabolism usually enjoys high insulin sensitivity, really stable hormones, and steady muscle mass. Basically, it processes carbs efficiently. But then, enter the midlife metabolism. We're talking decreased insulin sensitivity, shifting estrogen or testosterone levels, and a really frustrating tendency to store visceral fat. You know, that stubborn weight right around the middle. Your cells literally become less responsive to insulin, which means your body is just way less efficient at processing those carbohydrates.
Let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds. Macros: protein, fats, and carbs, the why.
So, if hormones and muscle loss are the root of the problem, finding the right macronutrient balance is our science-backed fix. Take a look at this number, 1.2 to 2.0. That's the grams of protein you want to aim for per kilogram of your body weight. And what's really fascinating here is that it totally goes against what a lot of us just assume. As we get older, we actually need more protein, not less, to fight off that metabolic decline we were just talking about. For example, if you weigh 150 pounds, which is about 68 kilograms, you're looking at roughly 82 to 136 grams of protein every single day. Here's a quick breakdown of how these three macros support our midlife wellness. First up, protein. Think of it as your muscle and metabolism preserver. Plus, it balances those tricky appetite hormones, ghrelin, which makes you feel hungry, and leptin, which tells you you're full. Then we have healthy fats. Things like olive oil and avocados are absolutely crucial because they actually support hormone production, and they step in to replace the energy you'd normally get from carbs. And finally, carbs themselves. We aren't eliminating them entirely. Instead, we're shifting the focus to high-fiber, low-glycemic quality carbs, like leafy greens, to really support gut health and reduce inflammation.
All right, Section 3, the Atkins diet explained, the framework.
Now that we've got a handle on the shifting biology, we can look at the Atkins low-carb diet as a really practical, scientifically grounded solution to all this. The whole plan is built on a structured 4-phase timeline. You kick things off with Phase 1, induction, for the first 2 weeks. This is where you limit carbs to just 20 net grams a day, mostly coming from leafy greens. The whole point here is to safely flip that metabolic switch so your body goes from burning carbs to burning fat. After that, in Phase 2, ongoing weight loss, you gradually add back things like nuts and berries to figure out your personal carb tolerance. Then comes Phase 3, pre-maintenance, as you get super close to your goal weight. And finally, Phase 4, maintenance, which is really just a sustainable lifetime way of eating based on exactly what you've learned about your own body's needs.
Moving right along to Section 4, navigating net carbs, the math.
Look, I know nobody likes doing math when they're hungry, right? But honestly, calculating net carbs is incredibly simple once you know the formula. Step 1, find the total carbohydrates on your food label. Step 2, subtract the fiber. Step 3, subtract any sugar alcohols. Boom. The number you're left with is your net carbs. This works so well because fiber and certain sugar alcohols don't spike your blood sugar, so they effectively don't count against your daily limit. See, fiber is literally working in your favor here.
And this brilliantly illustrates how you can find your own personal carb balance.
Because, let's face it, everybody is different. If you have very high metabolic resistance, meaning it is just exceptionally hard for you to lose weight right now, your daily net carb range should probably hover between 20 and 40 grams. But if you have an average metabolism, you might comfortably sit in the 60 to 90 gram range. This chart really empowers you to adjust your intake based entirely on what your unique body actually needs to respond.
Okay, Section 5, Building Your Low-Carb Plate, Real-Life Application.
So we've got the science, and we've done the math. But how do we actually translate all these rules into a real day of eating? To ground this a bit, let's look at a quote from an online low-carb practitioner, Sally Adkins. She says, "I'm getting a good amount of protein, good fats, some fiber, and some healthy carbohydrates. I never, ever feel restricted." I love that because it's just so important. When you balance your macros properly, this whole lifestyle feels totally human, achievable, and really abundant. You're eating well, you're not just eating less.
Now, what's really interesting here is just how vibrant and appetizing all this food actually is. We're talking a beautifully plated meal of rich salmon and broccoli, alongside a massive spread of foundation vegetables, spinach, kale, cauliflower, bell peppers. The point is, this is absolutely not about deprivation. It's about combining really high-quality proteins with colorful, nutrient-dense, low-carb veggies.
Let's actually walk through a sample daily routine so you can see exactly how this works in practice. First up, you might try swapping your morning coffee for matcha to get a nice energy boost without those awful perimenopausal jitters. You could also try an 8-hour intermittent fasting window, maybe breaking your fast around 11 a.m. with farm-fresh eggs scrambled with cottage cheese, which, by the way, is an amazing little hack for getting extra fluffy protein. For snacks, keep unsalted nuts or low-carb chocolate fudgy balls on hand to totally crush any sweet cravings. And then for dinner, a large, protein-packed chicken breast paired with steamed broccoli. You can absolutely eat deliciously while hitting every single one of those macro goals.
All right, our final section, Section 6, Avoiding Common Diet Mistakes, the Pitfalls.
So the crucial point here is that if we want to succeed on this journey, we've really got to look out for the sneaky stuff. First off, hidden carbs. Watch out for breaded hams or those weird fillers they sometimes put in deli meats. Second, not drinking enough water. Your body desperately needs it to process all these nutrients. Third, please do not trust everything labeled healthy. A lot of those so-called vitamin waters are basically just packed with added sugar, and they will completely wreck your net carb count. And finally, do not skimp on the healthy dietary fats. Remember, you literally need olive oil, avocados, and butter to keep those hormones happy and your energy levels up.
And speaking of water, beyond just tracking your macros, staying properly hydrated is absolutely vital. You want to be drinking plenty of plain or sparkling water and enjoying herbal teas like chamomile or peppermint. Actually, a great pro tip, especially during those early induction weeks, is to add just a tiny pinch of sea salt to your water to replenish your electrolytes. It works wonders for keeping your energy high and making sure your metabolism keeps humming along perfectly.
Well, we've covered the biology, the math, and the meal plans. So I want to leave you with this one question. Are you ready to take control of your hormones and rethink your very next meal? You really don't have to just accept that midlife metabolic slowdown. You can use what we've covered in this explainer to nourish your body, preserve that hard-earned muscle, and really thrive. Thanks for joining me, and keep learning.